Hello! It has been over a year since my last declutter, so it is high time for me to get rid of that which is expired and no longer serving me. So I'm going to start with my cream blushes because I think this is one of my biggest categories in my collection. As you can see, I have like a million little Phytosurgence ones. These are my favorite cream blush formula at the moment. Sublimate, Swelter, Smolder, and Exothermic. These are the more recent ones that I have. These three over here are over 2 years old. So Ember, I really like this orange shade. It has like a sheerness to it that makes it look more natural, but she is blooming something peculiar inside. So this is definitely going to be decluttered. This one, Fume, is one of my daily shades. It's just a really nice kind of neutral pink that is a little more muted and looks really nice on my skin tone. I haven't seen anything funky with this one yet, so I think I'm going to keep it, but keep a close eye on it as well. And then Evaporate, this is my most used shade. This I consider like a dirty peach shade. It's just so nice to have because it goes with pretty much everything, especially if I don't feel like thinking too hard about my blush that day. Out of these other four shades, I think I use Exothermic the least. It can sometimes be a little bruisey looking on me, but it also can give like a nice contour if you keep it on the perimeters of your face, but I just feel like I don't get that much use out of it. I've started tracking my makeup wear per month, and I don't think I've used this at all, and I feel like winter is when this color really shines, so if I'm not using it now, I just don't know if there's a point in keeping it in my collection, so I'm going to put it to the side for now. Smolder is kind of also in that category. It's just a little odd of a shade. I've liked pairing it with Ember in the past as like Ember as kind of the spotlight color and this on the outsides of my face just to add some dimension. So maybe I'll keep this one through the spring and summer because maybe if I get another orange blush, then I'll start using it a bit more, but something about just the deepness of it, it just doesn't do much for me. I think it's a little too close to my skin tone to really stand out on its own. And then these two shades I just love. Sublimate is pretty much a dupe for my Tower 28 blush in Power Hour. There's a bit of like a plummy difference between the two. I think this one is a bit more brown and red, and this one is a bit more purple. But I love alternating between the two and then adding like a splash of Swelter on the apples of my cheeks to brighten it up. So these are just excellent. Just a shout out to them. So I'm getting rid of two of my Phytosurgence blushes. So a good start. Going back to my Tower 28 blushes, I just love this one in Power Hour. It is held up so well. It doesn't look bizarre at all yet, even though I've had it for a couple of years now. But this one in Golden Hour is also looking funky. Is it something with orange blushes? I don't know. But it's gotten considerably more clay-like, and I haven't touched it in a while because of that. But I've kept it around because seeing the sticker makes me happy, but it's time to go. I'm going to be getting rid of all of my Rare Beauty blushes. These are just super expired at this point, and I don't think I would rebuy them because I just think I've moved on from this formula. And I used to think that these shades were super flattering, but this one, Joy, is a little too neon, and this one, Encourage, it makes me look a little dull. The only one I really still like is Grateful, but I think like with Swelter and I have a red powder blush, I think I'm set on red blushes. So I'm going to declutter all three of these. Now I have two LYS blushes. I have Self Love and Confident, and I just like these as more neutral pinks, especially this one is a little warmer. And then this one I got kind of to feed into that Cold Girl trend, but I just really like the formulas of these. They're not super dewy and creamy. They are called like a satin matte. I don't know. They're just like really solid cream blushes, and I haven't noticed anything weird with them. I don't think there are any other shades in the line that interest me, so I think I'll keep these around. And if they do expire, I would definitely repurchase this one, Self Love. I just think this pink shade is very unique in my collection. Now, I just bought this About Face blush, but I already want to declutter it because it is so different than I expected. I talked about this in my last video, I believe. But I've been trying to get it to work on me, and every time I use it, if I just use a smidge too much, it just feels very bruisey and unflattering. Especially the formula I feel is prone to being patchy or building up strangely, and I'm just kind of tired of trying to make this work at this point. I just want to move on. So I really hate doing this because I just got it a couple months ago, but it like actively annoys me to see it in my collection. So I think that's a sign to get rid of it. So lastly, we have my Patrick Ta blush duos, and I just think these are really convenient. I like having the option of the cream and the powder blushes in here. I use She's Blushing a lot just because it's kind of hard to mess up. It's just so neutral and goes with everything basically. I think I used the powder more than I used the cream, but these look really nice layered together. I find that with She's Wanted, this berry shade is just a little bit too intense for my skin tone, so I don't end up layering these that much, and I'm honestly a little afraid of the powder, so I mostly use the cream. But I realized that if I just use a little bit of the cream, it gives a really nice, like, cold pink effect, I think because of the berry tone on my skin. So it just gives a really nice flush, especially if you just use a little bit. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep this because I wasn't reaching for it, but once I figured that out, I have been using it a lot more. But the powder is still, unfortunately, a little useless for me right now. And then She's Baked is the first one that I got in this formula because I just really like a good kind of burnt red shade as seen by my love for Power Hour and Sublimate. And I like both formulas in here. I'll often use them together or layer them with one of the other reddy brown shades that I've mentioned, and I just use this one quite a bit. So these are all going to be staying. So here are all of the cream blushes that I'm going to be getting rid of, and here's what I'll be left with. Now let's tackle the powder blushes. All right, so here are all of my powder blushes. This category is always hard for me to declutter because I'm like, powder never goes bad, so what are you talking about? I'll keep them forever. But some of these just I haven't reached for in years, and I've just kept them around as like, just in case, what if I do a look that needs it? And it's just, I would simply rather have the space back than keep something around for some 1 in a million chance where I need to do a look that uses a shade like that. I know myself, I'm just not wearing this kind of color that often to keep it around. And I'm mostly keeping it for the adorable packaging. But, you know, I'm not going to love the Powerpuff Girls any less if I don't have this blush. So this will be the first one to go. And you know, I thought that this Alice in Wonderland blush, this is the shade Silence. I thought it would go the way of the Powerpuff Girls one just because the shade is so bright. But this has been really nice when I'm doing kind of maybe like an agari look of just trying to have a really like flushed cheek. And it is really nice to set other red blushes too. So I kind of like it. It's just like a real fun watermelon shade. So I'll be keeping this one around. This one from Wet n Wild, I distinctly remember that I kept it because in my last declutter, I decluttered the Fenty blush duo. That was basically, this is supposed to be a dupe for. And I was like, if I got rid of that, I got to keep this one. And I have not used it once in the last year and a half. So even though the hummingbird is absolutely beautiful, it's not doing much for me. So it's got to go. Similarly, I've kept this ColourPop kind of wine blush shade around. But I think my issue with it is that it's like a little shimmery. And so it doesn't look that great on the apples of my cheeks. I do have some like larger pores there, and I feel like it just catches the light a bit too much. So I don't reach for this at all, even in the winter. I absolutely adore this Sephora blush duo. This is in the shade Tiger Lily, and it just has a really nice bright orange. It's so vivid, and it mixes really well with this more, I don't know, like a maroon. The shades are so muddled together now because I'm just always swirling my blush in there. But I just love the shade that it creates. And, you know, I just really like those kind of burnt terracotta shades. And this is gorgeous. And I feel like this was not that expensive at all. I thought they were discontinuing it, and that was a sad day, but it's still around. And just look at them. Next, I have two nude blushes. This one from Essence is in Bespoke, and I got this because I wanted to get the Patrick Ta She's So LA blush duo, but I just wanted the powder. And this was supposed to be a dupe, but it's quite shimmery on my cheeks, so I really don't like wearing it that much. And I checked my tracker, and I haven't worn this in 3 months, so I think that's a sign that even though it's cheap, if I'm not getting use out of it, it's better to just let it go. I sort of feel similarly about this M Cosmetics blush in Rococo, but it has a bit of rosiness to it that I think saves it and makes it a little bit more wearable, even though it has that shimmer. It just feels more like a blush, whereas the Essence one can just feel like a shimmery bronzer that I put on my cheeks. Also, this one was way more expensive, so I am more hesitant to let it go. This NYX Sweet Cheeks formula is really nice. It's just like a solid blush formula in my opinion, and I just like having an orange blush on hand to set my orange cream blushes, although those are in the past now, so maybe I'll restock on a cream orange blush, and this will have purpose again. These are my last two powder blushes. I really like this one from Essence in Believing. I mean, it's perfect for setting cream blushes, but it also is nice to have a more matte one because this one from M Cosmetics is pretty shimmery. This gives you just like glowy angel cherub cheeks. And this one is perfect for like cold girl looks. So I'm happy to have both of them in my collection. Okay, so I went from 10 powder blushes to 6, and I'm feeling pretty good about that. So here are all of my single eyeshadows. You'll see an overwhelming amount of ColourPop and then a lot of these Bodyography glitter pigments and a couple other, like Urban Decay. I've got one Hourglass one, these NYX Glow Shots, some About Face Fluid matte eye paints, and then some other random singles. So let's start with the ColourPop. A lot of these gotta go. I don't know why I hung on to all of these Becky G collabs. I don't have like a nostalgia for her. I think just because they're such bright colors, I thought they could come in handy someday for like a look, but as I mentioned, I'm tired of having that mindset. So all of these are so extremely old and just have to go. This shade Bumblebee is also ancient and I don't even like how it looks on me. So why have I kept that? Also, this shade Frog is a really nice, like, sparkly shade. I was, like, very much in a glitter era. But even though it's very sparkly, it's a little too icy for my skin tone, so I just never used it. And I've kind of been feeling that way about Ritz. It's just not what I reach for. Like, I will pick up a little quirky every time because it just has a bit more of a tan base, whereas this is a nude. Even though Ritz is sparklier, it's not as sparkly as Space Cowboy, and I'll pick up that every time if I really want a pop of glitter. So I'm going to keep a little quirky, but pass on Ritz. I've got this trio of purpley rosy pinks that I saved for my last declutter, but I just haven't reached for them that much since. I don't think I'm the biggest fan of these tones on my eyes. It's hard for me to not look like a little ill. So these will be getting decluttered as well. This feels so good. Oh my goodness. This one is Rosebud, and I really like this shade, but I definitely just forgot about it because it's in a basket with all my other Super Shock shadows, and so it just gets hidden. I'll also be getting rid of this duo, even though they have a cute little cat and puppy face on them, because I just never wear them. These last two got Rooftop Cocktails and Green Juice. I've saved from a declutter because they're just like kind of fun, funky colors, and I thought I'd definitely use them sometime. Maybe I'll keep Green Juice, but I'm not really liking how Rooftop Cocktails looks on my eyes. I think because my eyes are more pigmented, it's too sheer. There's not the same impact that I would expect or have seen on people with a lighter skin tone. So farewell. I'm going to be keeping all of my Bodyography pigments because I just cannot bear to part with them. I don't think I ever will. They are so glittery and impactful, and I like applying them just in the center of a look. They're just so high shine and add a lot of impact to even the most simple look, so I'll be keeping them in all of the shades. I really don't use this Moondust shadow in Lithium as much as I thought I would because it's a bit more silver than I thought. I really hoped it was going to be a bit warmer. I was really looking for like a chocolate brown shimmer, and this isn't quite that, but I think now that I have fewer single shadows, I'll reach for it more often and be able to form a better opinion. This is the Hourglass Scattered Light in Ray, and it is definitely closer to what I was hoping the Lithium one would be. It's just a bit lighter and warmer of a sparkle. So I'll definitely be keeping this one. Space Cowboy, I could never get rid of you. Also, I love the OG packaging of this so much. And then this is Solstice. It's a bit of a red-blue flip. Unfortunately, all of these are expired. I think with liquid eyeshadows, you have to be a bit more careful of minding the expiration dates because it can be... I have sensitive eyes and I can notice the kind of like a burning sensation when I put them on. So, just watch out for that. But if I was going to rebuy these, which I think I will, I don't use this pink one often enough to rebuy it. So that will be leaving my collection permanently. But I think after I declutter, I would rebuy both of these. This one, Wow Cacao, is just so nice for the fall time to add a bit of sparkle in the center of your lid if you're doing kind of like a basic brown or like pumpkin-y look. And then this one, Golden Goji, this on the inner corner is insane. So good. They've also added even more shades like neutrals and stuff, but I didn't give those a try yet since I had these, but who knows? All right, so bye-bye to all of these for now. This Dazzle Stick is like for a statement look. It's such a reflective gold with like green reflex. It'll have people asking you what is on your eyes, but I've been keeping it a bit more understated these days with my eyes, so I wasn't getting that much use out of it anymore. I thought this shadow from Rem Beauty was really promising, but I just don't really like this shade for my skin. I think it looks fine here, but on my eyes, it's very red. I thought it was something that I could lay down as like a transition shade or an easy one and done, but it's not doing it for me. All right, and lastly, I have my About Face Matte Fluid Eye Paints. The minis, unfortunately, I think these dry out a lot quicker than the big sizes. I mean, these are all super expired, so no fault of theirs, but these dried out a lot quicker than this one has been. Like, this is still usable. So I think as spring comes, I'll be doing a bit more bolder looks with some pastels and stuff. So I'm going to keep the white one around for that purpose, just to help colors pop more. But I'm going to say goodbye to these primary color minis. Okay, this is kind of wild. These are all of the single shadows that I'll be getting rid of. And I feel like a weight has seriously been lifted. I feel so happy. Gosh, let's do eyeshadow palettes next. Here are all of my eyeshadow palettes. I have 13 of them. So let's start with the ColourPop ones. I think I'm going to get rid of this C3PO one because it's just not flattering every time I try and do a look with these golds. And I really only keep it around for these more yellow-based mattes. And I think I just need to depot them and be done with it. And I mean, of course, the packaging. But I'm thinking maybe if I want to get rid of any of these other ones, I could transfer other ColourPop shadows into here. So I could save the cute packaging, but actually use more of the shades. So that's my plan for right now. This is their What the Shell palette. It was like an attempt to do K-Beauty, I think. And it has some very glittery shades. The one in the middle is the only one I really like. Sometimes I'll use this if I'm doing something pink. And this is a nice soft liner shade. But the rest of these are like kind of weirdly dry and glittery mattes. So I think it's time to just get rid of it. And I have other glitters that I can use. Going coconuts is kind of the opposite problem of the C3PO, where these mattes always make me look so dead and chalky. It's just too cool tone for me. Even though I think I'm like a neutral, it just looks very ashy on my skin tone. But I do like, I don't know why, I just like a good dark brown. I like to intensify or make like a little smokiness going on. But this one, jail. It's so bad. Ugh. So I think I'm going to depot this one into Mr. C3PO and maybe this brown as well. But the rest of these, thank you for your contribution. You are now retired. Okay, brown sugar. I know I was like, I will never get rid of this, but I feel like it's just getting kind of old. And the shimmers definitely are not performing as well. They're still very pretty, but they just crease immediately or ball up on itself. It's just lacking a bit, but I can't get over just how flattering the shades are on my skin tone. I'm not ready to say goodbye, so I'll be keeping this one. And oh my gosh, the Baby Yoda palette, are you kidding? If I look at my little makeup dresser cart and don't see his little face, I'm gonna have a bad day. But there's something about these greens, like this one is just a little too silvery on me. It just isn't super flattering. This one's kind of dull. Don't even get me started on that one. So I think we could do a little merger with C3PO in here. Even though then it won't be as satisfying to look at, it will actually be practical to use. And you know I love this shade. You know I love a brown. I've kept this e.l.f. Bite Size quad for traveling, like in the fall. That's when I'm doing all of my like visiting family and stuff. But there's something very unsatisfying about this palette and the formula. There's just like not a lot of payoff. The shimmers aren't very impactful. And even though it doesn't take up a lot of room, it's just still a product in my collection that I'm not really excited to use. So I'm going to declutter this. My Makeup by Mario Master Mattes palette. Yeah, this will be staying. It has been a go-to lately. I feel like I can't use all of the shades in here, so it's not my perfect neutral, like kind of everyday palette, but it's pretty dang close. This is a cake liner palette from Glisten Cosmetics, and I hadn't used it in so long, but I used it yesterday and it was so much fun. I just used this red shade to draw little stars on the corner of my eyes, and I was like, I need to do this way more often. So hopefully with less products to focus on, I can give this some attention. This is from BH Cosmetics RIP, I believe. Like they don't exist anymore. But I know I'm going to be breaking this out in the spring and the summer. I used this shade yesterday. And I just love how many fun shimmery colors there are in here. And I like that you can mix them really well. So I'm excited to play around with this and some glitter in the spring. So I'll be keeping. All right, this is the Pat McGrath C3PO palette. I really do not get much use out of this palette at all, but it has been sitting at the bottom of my palettes. So maybe that could be why. I used this orange shade yesterday with that other kind of like pastel orange from the BH Cosmetics palette. And I really liked how it turned out. So also the packaging is so nice and hefty, even though it's also kind of, oh no. Okay, well, maybe I glue that back on. Okay, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Next. Now this is the Jackie Aina palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is an absolute relic of the past. I haven't put this near my eyes in years. I'm only keeping it for nostalgia, but I just think I need to let it go at this point. You know, I can look at pictures of it. Swatching it doesn't even feel the same. The formula is so different. So I think it's time to move on, and I am okay with that. But also, can someone like make a palette with these same colors, please? Thank you. There's no amount of money you could pay me to get rid of this Party Favor palette from Urban Decay. It's all Moonda shades. I don't think they will ever top this, and that makes me sad, but at least I have this. We've got like a blue, pink, yellow, orange, kind of a burgundy, and blue-green. They really thought of everything with this one, and now no more thoughts exist. All right, my last palette that I have is this Natasha Denona bronze palette. I don't reach for this one like ever because it's so big, so it sits at the bottom of all the other palettes. But I don't know, it's probably good for summer and fall, I guess. But I think I'm just not into a super coppery eye anymore. Kind of like with this one. Even if it was impactful, I feel like I've moved away from super copper and I just like more browns and maybe burgundies. But I think orange has never been my favorite. You remember when everything was super orange with the Modern Renaissance palette? Did not flatter your girl. So even though this was quite a bit of money, I think it's okay to get rid of something that is taking up quite a bit of space in my collection and I'm not using like at all. Okay, so from 13 palettes, we are down to 7. Whoa. All right, nice. Let's do some easier categories. Let's do like a little complexion. All right, here are my highlighters and illuminators. So starting with the illuminators, I have the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter and the e.l.f. Halo Glow. And I prefer the Charlotte Tilbury so much more because the e.l.f. has a bit more coverage. So if I was doing like a full foundation look, this would be fine, but most of the time I'm not. And in those cases, the Flawless Filter just looks a bit more undetectable on the skin. This also just like felt heavy, and as a sensory sensitive girl, that was not sitting right with me. So I'm gonna get rid of the e.l.f. I'm gonna be getting rid of both of these Say Glowy gels. I've got Sun Glow, which is a bronze, and Star Glow, which is more icy. And it's not that I dislike them anymore. I think Star Glow is still nice for like the high points of your cheeks. But if you put this all over your face, I mean, maybe it's just happening to me, but when the light hits you just right, it looks like you have a very glittery mustache, and I would prefer not to. So I won't be rebuying these. This is the Vision Flush Glow in Majesty from Danessa Myricks. It's a really nice bronze, and I love using this in the summer and then layering it with maybe a pinpoint of like a gold highlighter within, and it just gave so much dimension to my face, and I'm obsessed. So I will definitely be keeping this one. These are 2 of the Super Shock Cheek highlighters from ColourPop. I've got Churro and Wisp, and I really like both of these. This formula is so buttery. It's perfect for just like having a highlighter that looks melted into your skin, and it's not going to look dusty like some powder highlighters could. It's just really natural looking, even if it is super blinding. But these are getting a little long in the tooth, and I'm not going to purchase them because I'm not shopping from ColourPop anymore, but I think there are some K-Beauty and C-Beauty kind of creamy putty type highlighters that I can use instead. This is another ColourPop highlighter, and this is in the shade 100 Acre Wood from their Winnie the Pooh collab. And I've only used this once when I went to Disney and dressed up as Pooh. So this is really just like a collector's item for me. So I'll have it forever. The Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand in Goldgasm is something I've repurchased like 2 or 3 times. This isn't fully expired yet, but she is getting there. But for now, she can stay here. I will rebuy this infinite times. This one is also a little bit old. This is the shade Flaunt from Rare Beauty. And this is a really nice, like ultra metallic looking highlighter that just sinks in really well. So it doesn't smell terrible, and it's nice for like super glam looks. So I'm going to keep this one a little bit longer. This is my most recent highlighter purchase, this Lumi Le Glace. And it's just like a super wet looking highlighter stick. This isn't totally clear. It's a little pearly, Still trying to figure out how to use it, but I'm liking it more and more. I think this Maybelline Master Chrome is just too old at this point, even though it is utterly iconic and so metallic. I have other highlighters in like my Hourglass palettes that I think could fit the bill, and so I just don't think I need to keep it around anymore, which is sad. Also, it's freaking broken. I think this Essence Pure Nude Sunlighter is a nice formula. It's a really soft powder and looks really natural, but the shade of this is just not the most flattering to me, and so I don't find myself reaching for it. But if you want a highlighter that isn't super blinding, I would definitely check these out. Gojo says hi. This is my Phytosurgence Spectral Shine highlighter in the shade Solar Sheen. And this is a really nice yellow gold. Figuring out how to use this was a little frustrating, but you know, once like a logic puzzle, it's just very satisfying once you do figure out how to use it, and there are lots of different ways. So I like sometimes setting my under eyes with these, or just using it on the cheekbone, or using this all over your face as like a primer. It's super blurring. I think they said they like mix setting powder in here. I don't know. Don't trust me. Look it up for yourself. But even though this product is a little funky to use, I find that once you get the hang of it, it's really rewarding. I feel like my looks come out just even better when I put in the effort of using it. But sometimes I just do not feel like it. All that to say, I will be keeping it. It's going to be very hard for me to get rid of it because I have so much attachment to the stickers I've put on here. All right, and my last highlighter is this duo from Fenty. It's Mean Money and Hustla Baby. Just a nice little champagne light gold situation. This side is very subtle highlighter, and then this one is super, super bright. But what they both are is super old, and I think I get little bumps whenever I use this, especially because I like to use it as an inner corner highlighter, and my skin does not like that anymore. So it's going to be bye-bye to Miss Bunny. So here are all the highlighters that I will be decluttering, and it feels so good. I wish I could say it's bittersweet. I'm so happy to be rid of these ones that I do not enjoy using anymore. Except for you two. You two are okay. So here are all of my face palettes. I have quite a few of the Dior highlighting ones. I don't think I'll ever get rid of them. One, because they are absolutely gorgeous, and two, I went to not quite the ends of the earth, but the ends of Mercari to get this rose gold one. And, you know, when you work so hard for something, you're gonna keep it. I think my favorite is definitely the universal one. I like that I can use this as eyeshadow, highlighter, a blush topper, mix them all together. It is very fun. I love the difference in tones in the gold one, and then the rose gold. I don't use as much as I should, but I like that there's like a light pink, a peach. I just like all of the variety that you get in these little palettes, so I'll be keeping all of them. A highlighting quad that I will be getting rid of is this one from ColourPop. This survived my last declutter because I thought, you know, maybe one day I'll really wish that I had an icy blue lavender shift highlight, and it's like, if that day comes, you know, too bad, girl. You had it and you didn't use it. So this is going to get decluttered. My two Hourglass palettes are probably my favorite makeup possessions. I always bring this one, the Ghost Unlocked, whenever I travel because these two finishing powders are perfect for setting my under eye. I love the bronzer as eyeshadow. The highlight is so bright. And then this is a gorgeous blush. This is a kind of glittery mess, but you know, she's there. She's part of the team. And I'm finally starting to use this Tiger palette more, and I'm just enjoying it so much. Like, this finishing powder works as a bronzer for me. This orange blush is really pretty. This red as a blush topper, I didn't think I would like, but from a distance and in photos, it just makes you look like you have the most cherubic, beautiful cheeks. Yeah, I'm just such a fan of these palettes. Like, I would love to just collect all of them, but I'm seriously super happy with the two that I have. I feel like it covers all of the bases. Lastly, I have this Kaleidos Contour Trio, and this is in the shade Tan. This is also the most recent face palette I bought, and I really bought it for this shade. I wanted to do Agusal, and I needed a contour powder that like fit my skin tone. And I think this works really well, but these other two shades I just don't use as much. This bronzer is a little too red-orange to me. And I just don't really know how to use a matte highlighting powder, but I'm trying to figure it out. All right, so only getting rid of one face palette, but I really like, or am trying to like, all of the other ones, so I feel good. Now let's do the rest of my complexion products. So I'm going to be getting rid of both of these e.l.f. primers. I loathe the texture of this Power Grip one. It's just too sticky for me. Even if I target it on my cheeks, I just don't like the feeling. And this Poreless Putty Primer, I liked it at the beginning, It was not like the most blurring thing. It's not like super silicone-y, but you know, it did a little something. But after a while, I started getting a little irritation on my cheeks where I put it. And so I just don't think my skin agrees with something in it. So both these are going to go, and I don't know what to do about primer. Like if you had a suggestion for a dry skin primer that maybe does a little bit of blurring, I would be quite open to hearing it. Now we've got my powders. I have 6 powders for a dry skin girl. I don't know why. I just like it. I think because I like having a very blurred kind of soft matte look, like blurred around my cheeks and then soft matte everywhere else. This is from Laura Mercier. I don't think they make this anymore. I've had this for absolutely ages, but this is just a really soft finishing powder. It says it's a perfecting powder, and that's really what it does. You can just dust it over everything to like blend it together. This ambient lighting powder from Hourglass does a similar thing. This is radiant light, so it has a bit more sparkly particles in it, but it looks super illuminating at night. Like in a nice restaurant, it just looks like you've been, I don't know, kissed by the stars. So I wouldn't buy a full size of it, but as a mini, it's a nice to have. I've also got the Hourglass setting powder. This is in translucent medium. It's a really nice kind of yellow shade that really flatters my skin tone. And it is also really blurring without feeling very tight on my dry skin. I don't mind the e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder. It's just the shade that I have, medium beige. It's not too good. And it's also shimmery. I thought it would be a dupe for this. I got this one first, but it's not. It has like little shimmer particles in it. And the shade's just a bit too light for me, and they don't have a better tan shade available for purchase. So this is going to get discontinued, which sucks because I have to say goodbye to my little camera bunny. Another e.l.f. setting powder. This is their Prime and Stay. This is supposed to be similar to the Pat McGrath one, which I've never tried, but I really like this for setting my under eyes just lightly. You don't need too much and it just totally mattifies it. It's also very fragile, so I don't travel with it. But if I don't feel like using one of the Hourglass finishing powders to set my under eyes, I just reach for this and it does a perfect job. And this is my newest powder. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Finish one, and I got the shade 3 Tan. I wasn't sure if I should get medium or this one. And this is just a bit too deep for underneath my eyes. It's like my exact skin tone, so it doesn't give any brightening. But boy howdy, does it mattify and blur. Using this on my cheeks is a miracle worker. I just wish there was something like a tad bit lighter for underneath my eyes. And then these two little guys are my only foundations. I've got the Danessa Myricks Skin Tint and then the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. And I really like to mix these two with the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. That's like my perfect coverage product, I guess. It's not too heavy, but it does kind of cover up discoloration very easily. So, you know, these two ain't going anywhere. Okay, here are all my bronzer contouring products. The only one I'm definitely going to get rid of is my Makeup by Mario Skin Enhancer. This is in the shade Medium Dark, and from the jump, it was never doing much of anything at all for me. So I think it's time to say goodbye because it's now pre-expired. But if you want a really subtle bronze, I think you might like this product. It's very natural looking, has a bit of a sheen, but unfortunately this shade just like barely showed up on my skin, and by the time I layered it up enough to have an impact, it was feeling real greasy. Other than that, I'll be keeping these two powder bronzers of mine. I've got Casino from NARS and Caramel Cutie from Fenty Beauty. You can see the difference in tones. This one's a bit more deep and red, and then this one's much more yellow. And I think they're also great for building together to get a more dimensional bronze. So even though they're both pretty old, I'm still happy with them. My Charlotte Tilbury cream bronzer is drying out a little bit, but it still works really well, and I don't want to replace it before summer comes. So I'm going to try and get one more summer season out of this. Now, I could get rid of this Phytosurgeon's bronzer. It's just not my favorite. It's similarly finicky to their highlight, but I do like that it has a yellow undertone, and I feel like it pairs nicely with this Fenty one. So I'm going to give it one more chance. I haven't really been wearing a lot of bronzer since it's been cold as heck, but as it warms up, I'm going to be giving these all another test and see which ones really deserve to stick around. But no need to do anything too hasty. I thought this e.l.f. one could replace my Charlotte Tilbury contour wand, but definitely not. This is definitely a bronzer. You can see all those golden shimmers in there. It's really nice. It's impactful. I really don't have any complaints about it, except that I wish there was a better contour shade for me. Until then, I'll be sticking with my grubby Charlotte Tilbury contour wand. I did say that they came out with a shade extension, so since this is on its last legs, I might pick up one of those, and then I'll have my liquid bronzer and my liquid contour. Now, I could say goodbye to this next product. These are the e.l.f. Putty Bronzers because I have enough other bronzers and they're the oldest one in the bunch as far as cream bronzers go. I really like this formula. It's almost like a satin matte. It kind of self-sets. And I have made some good progress on this one. This is Golden Days. This one is Bronze Bell and it's just a bit deeper. So I think I might hang on to Golden Days, see how much more I can use up this season, and then declutter it at the end of summer. But this one I'll declutter now because I do have some deeper bronzers in my collection. I changed my mind. I can't split them up, so I'm going to keep both of them. But okay, we got rid of one bronzer. Let's do concealers and color correctors. All right, so the first thing my eye catches is this e.l.f. brightening concealer pen. It's supposed to be like a dupe for the YSL Touche Éclat one. And I like this so much. I think that they got rid of it. I would totally rebuy it if they hadn't, but this is too old. And because it's a brush, I feel like it must be just a condominium of bacteria at this point. So it's time to declutter. Tower 28, I don't know if I like this formula. It's a little too serum-like sometimes. You know, it's just not giving me the coverage that I need, but I do like using it in conjunction with a deeper concealer to add a little bit of brightening. So you have survived for now. All right, this is my favorite concealer formula. These are the Kulfi Main Match Concealers. This is Glossy Guava, which I've had for ages now and smells like paint, so you gotta go. But I got Koya Kisses because Glossy Guava is just very close to my skin tone, so it's great all over my face, but I wanted something a little bit lighter for underneath my eyes, and Koya Kisses has been pretty nice, so I might repurchase this if I find that this doesn't work as well on the rest of my face. I've got my two NARS Radiant Creamy Concealers. These are in the same shade, Sucre de Rouge, and I just got the mini because I wasn't sure if I really liked this formula because it's too old for me to really want to put on my face anymore. But I just kept it around to remember that I wanted to buy a little version, and now I've done it, so I can get rid of it. This is the Bobbi Brown Skin Corrector Stick in Dark Peach. It's really nice because for me, I could just wear it on its own on like a low makeup day, and it's not going to stick out as being super peach or orange, and therefore look unnatural on my face. But this is just too old, so I'm going to get rid of it, and I'm going to try and get a deeper shade. I believe there's a deep peach that I could get, and then maybe I could use this on other spots on my face too. As for correctors, this is a yellow LA Girl concealer, and I've just heard that it's good if you have yellow undertones to have this around to try and get a better shade match for foundations. Have I done that? Maybe once, but I'll keep it around a little bit longer. This e.l.f. color corrector though, in blue, I've gotten a lot of use out of because my foundation shade is just a little bit orange. So I use this to kind of neutralize it a bit, and it makes it a much better shade match for me. This is the Clinique color corrector in Apricot, and I use this if I'm especially bothered by my hyperpigmentation that day. Since it is an extra step, I don't always do it, but it does do a good job of covering up darkness. But this only lasts 6 months, which is kind of ridiculous to me, so I'm going to be decluttering that. And for now, I'm using this Flower Beauty under eye corrector stick. It's definitely lighter and not as pigmented as the Clinique, but it kind of does the job of my under eye darkness, but I need to figure out a different solution for the other pigmentation on my face. But for now, it's okay. All right, so these are the concealers and correctors we're saying goodbye to, and this is what I got. All right, here's my last category. Here are all of my lip products. So many of these are expired, so I'll just let you know which ones I'm going to be rebuying, and if there are any I don't like that I'm just going to get rid of. These I didn't get that long ago, but I thought I was okay with fragrance, but over time, these have just felt like almost nauseating to me. They're very strong, but I think the colors are really nice. If you want like a pigmented gloss, like that's lovely. I'm not going to deny that, but I can't deal with the smell of the chocolate right underneath my nose. Not anymore. Next, I have these AF94 glosses, and these are super, super shiny. I think I'm going to keep the clear one just for that. It's like a nice touch to add to a look if you want to just amp it up in that way. But this nude one, this just isn't the kind of gloss I can wear all over my lip comfortably. I feel like it starts to irritate my lips after a while. It just doesn't feel like the most high quality formula, but it is super, super shiny. Next, I have this Glasting Melting Balm from Amand, and this is in the shade Kaya Fig, which is a really nice My Lips But Better shade on me. But the scent of this one it's not even like a gentle sweet scent. It feels like a very heavily floral fragrance, and I cannot gel with that, no matter how beautiful the product is. These Etude Fixing Tints are gorgeous, just a nice matte tint that can be kind of sheared out, and it's a nice base to put a gloss on top. I want to collect all of the shades, but for now, just 2. These 2 Peri Peri tints are past their expiration date. They're turning a weird little color. I think it's just the pigment doing something funky, but I've rebought this shade, number 3, because it's such a nice pink when it's not busy turning green. And this one is like a really nice nude color. I think it's called Nude to Heart, but I don't believe they make this one anymore. So one thing I miss with Asian beauty lip products is finding nudes that work for my skin tone, and this was one, so sad to say goodbye. But you know who does kill it with brown glosses is NYX. These are a multitude of their nudes. This one, Praline, is like one of my most repurchased lip products, period. But right now, these are all a little expired. They don't have that classic vanilla scent anymore. So I know where I can find them if I need them, but right now it's time to let them go. This is Vanilla Beige from Summer Fridays in their Lip Butter Balm. This is expired, but I noticed irritation after I was using it. I was maybe overdoing it, but I was just so obsessed with the smell I couldn't stop applying it. But I don't know if it's fragrance or what, but it started to leave my lips very dry, which is annoying that the product can just kind of change up on you like that. But such is life. I won't be repurchasing this. These are the plushie formulas from Lime Crime, and I really like this formula. It gives kind of like a blotted lip look. They're super pretty and sheer, and they have like a candy scent to them. I really like them, but these are definitely expired. I don't think I'd want to put them on my lips. And I have no idea what's going on with Lime Crime if they still make these anymore, but I've kind of filled that void with some other like K-Beauty and C-Beauty tints, so I'm okay letting go of these. I love these Juicy Lasting tints from Momand. I've been wearing these non-stop these past few months. I love that you can build up the tint to make it even more intense, and then they just have such a beautiful shine to them. This one, Almond Rose, is my most used shade. If I recommended any of these products to you, it would be this one. They have so many shades available, there's gotta be something to tickle your fancy. This is another Roman product. It's their Blur Fudge tint, and it's like a super matte, like velvety product. It reminds me of those Jouer lip tints. I can't remember what they were called, but a similar kind of like velvety texture that's just really easy to smudge around and get a really blurred look. I like using this on the inside of my lips for that kind of bitten look. I've got 2 expired Bobbi Brown products. I got their Crushed Oil Lip Gloss here in Force of Nature, and then their Crushed Liquid Lip in Haute Cocoa. Cocoa? Cocoa. I definitely use the lip gloss more. I'm just more of a gloss gal, I guess. But both of these formulas are really nice. This is super comfortable, but it gives you the coverage of a liquid lipstick. And I love how neutral this gloss is. But I think if I repurchased one, it would be the Crushed Oil Gloss, because this is just so cushiony on the lips. It's just a really comfortable formula, but both have to go. I've got 2 of the Hourglass Volumizing Glossy Bombs. These are both gifts from my husband. They're so precious to me. I've got Crave and Haze. Haze is a bit deeper of a color. More of this like burnt orangey red. And then Crave is just a really nice like peachy pink. My favorite way to wear these is with other lip glosses or stains and just putting these in the center because they are so high shine. It just makes your lips look even more 3D and stunning. I've got 2 red lip products here. I got these for the same look that I did. It was like a Gigi Hadid kind of Christmas look. And I really haven't used it outside of that. Even though this is nice to like have a shimmery red gloss, I feel like that'd be fun even in the summer. The formula is just not my favorite. First of all, it has like no smell. I need like a pleasant smell. You can't just smell like plastic. And it's also pretty sticky. And similarly, I find that the matte ink is also a bit sticky. I guess it's how it adheres to your lips for like 24 hours. It's just not the most comfortable formula to me, especially because my lips are so dry. I love these lip glazes from House Labs. I've got Fig and Persimmon. At first, I regretted getting this one and wish I'd gotten one of the kind of more pink ones. But doing like a brown lip liner with this is so beautiful. And I was in a berry phase when I got this one, but I think a berry lip and red hair just look so nice together. I know she's old, but I haven't found a better staying lip stain than these, especially in this shade. It's perfect for all the berry lips that I've been doing. I know they're those Sachi ones, but these you don't need to let sit for any time at all. Stain. It's absolutely incredible. So I'll be keeping her around for all of my berry lip looks. This L'Oreal lipstick in Sunwash, I only have because my mom uses it and I just like having it to put on in case, I don't know, I'm missing her or something. So even though I don't really wear it that often, it's just like a classic lipstick to have around and makes me feel very nostalgic. And lastly, my current infatuation is this Ole Henriksen peptide lip treatment, and I have the strawberry sorbet shade. I like the subtle pink color of this. The strawberry scent is divine, and this actually makes my lips feel very hydrated and plush. Like this isn't just a vanity product. It feels like it's actually doing something for my lips. These do have an expiration date of 6 months, so I'm not going to buy any more of them, but I just love throwing this in my purse and knowing that I'm going to have like a cute lip for the rest of the day. Okay, here are all of the lip products I'm decluttering. I can't believe how many just expired things I had sitting around taking up space. And now I'm left with the products I actually like using that aren't gonna give me a weird rash. It's a very nice feeling. This whole process has felt so freeing. I realized I've been keeping so many things around just in case, like a fear that I won't have it when I need it, but I'm realizing it's been years and I haven't used a lot of these products. They've even just gone bad sitting around. So I'm so glad to have gotten rid of these things that are just cluttering up my collection and giving me the chance to really focus on the products that I want to use. So thank you so much for watching this video and hanging out with me while I declutter. This has been amazing. And hopefully I will see you in my next video.